Josh Green here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by Ade Oladipo here at the press conference for Jordan Thompson in his big step up against Zhilei Opetaia. I think a lot has been made of Jordan Thompson's step up. Fought at British level, fought at European level, never world level. What do you make of it?
Yeah, some might even say not British level. I mean, Vasil Duka, is that British level? Maybe not, right? It's a tough one. But these are opportunities you got to take. And I spoke to Jordan Thompson a few minutes ago and I said, look, this is, I guess, what you get in the game for, right? Big fights, headline events, world title fights, hopefully a bit of money in the back pocket. This is it. You can't turn it down. But it's a big ask. Zhilei Opetaia is recognised by most now as the best cruiserweight on the planet, especially, I think, since Lawrence lost to Chris Billam-Smith. So it probably is Zhilei Opetaia, maybe Gulamari and Chris Billam-Smith, and then we don't know what Badu Jack's doing. So it's a big ask, but look, we've seen bigger upsets in boxing. We've seen bigger upsets. And some might even say, you know, until Zhilei Opetaia stepped up against Bradis, we hadn't seen what he's made of. But he beat Bradis. He beat Bradis with a broken jaw, a bad shoulder. So it doesn't get much tougher, but you never know.
I spoke to Chris Billam-Smith yesterday, and I think he was a 3-1 underdog in his fight against Lawrence Okoli. He compared what Jordan Thompson's got to do on Saturday to what he did to Lawrence Okoli. So it does prove that shocks are there. But do you feel if Jordan Thompson's going to be successful, it needs to be done early on Saturday?
Yeah, it does. Like, Jay's going to be on his chest. If you watch the Bradis fight, he's on Bradis' chest for the whole 12 rounds, doesn't let him breathe, and that's with a broken jaw, double fracture in the jaw as well. He looks mean. I don't know, looking mean doesn't win fights, but he looks mean, he really does. Again, interviewed him, and this guy is determined. He's brought a big team over here as well. It's not just him and his trainer, there's about 10 of them. So they're expecting to go home with that belt, and he's not looking past Jordan, but he's already speaking to me about wanting to chase the belts. Remember, he wanted to fight Masterneck. He wanted to fight a rematch with Bradis. He then wanted to fight Richard Riakporhe. So he might feel like he's dropped down a level here. So hopefully he's not underestimating Jordan too much, because Jordan is the biggest cruiserweight I've ever seen in my life. And he's not just big upper body and skinny legs. He's got thick legs as well. So Jordan's going to be very dangerous for the first 5 or 6 rounds, maybe for the whole fight. But I'd be very shocked if Opetaia doesn't win.
Big weekend next weekend for Matchroom and DAZN Boxing as well. Lee Woods making his return against Josh Warrington. I think a fight that the fans have clamoured for many years now. Which way do you see that one swinging? Because I've spoke to many people and I can't really get a definitive answer.
Yeah, I think Lee. I'm always a kind of what have you done for me lately person. And I think Lee getting the reverse victory over Mauricio Lara is a big one, especially when a lot of people going into that fight say, you probably remember the talk around it, like, don't take the fight. Especially when Lara came in heavy. It's like, oh, this fight should be stopped. So I think for Lee to kind of outbox him, the Michael Conlan performance as well. We look at Josh, and unfortunately for Josh, and it's not a bad thing, but he's lost to Luis Alberto Lopez, obviously the Lara fight, the no contest. So Josh has only won 1 fight in his last 4, whereas Lee's won 3 of his last 4. So I'm going to go for the guy that's right now, I think, maybe rising as to where one's dropping. But fight of the year. I mean, the atmosphere in that arena is going to be ridiculous, because you've got all Leeds football fans and all Forest football fans. It's basically a football match with a boxing ring. So I can't wait to be there. The best atmospheres I've ever been is Josh versus Lara at Headingley, and Lee Wood versus Conlan at the Forest, the Nottingham Arena. The fact that they're bringing those 2 fan bases together, hopefully there's a lot of security.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to be at those 2 as well. I want to speak to you about the heavyweight division. There's been a lot of movement over the last few weeks. We'll start with Joe Joyce. Took a loss to Zhilei Zhang over the weekend. Heavy knockout as well. Where does Joe Joyce go from here, in your opinion?
It's a tough one. We always clamour for the best to fight the best, right? It's not just the fact that he lost. Like, losing to Zhang's fine. I think Zhang now, top 4, top 5 heavyweights. It's not the problem that he lost, it's how he got beat. In the first fight, it was quite one-way traffic. I know Joyce was starting to come back into it, but it was one-way traffic. And the second fight, no adjustments made and then got knocked out. So he's taken a lot of punishment, Joe. Like, every fight's punishment. Even the ones where he wins, whether it be Joseph Parker, Dubois, Takam, it's always punishment. Like, how long can you continue to take that? I still think there are a couple of fights left in him, but he's now a risk-reward. Like, the risk fighting Joe is still quite big because he's a big guy, but the reward is so small because it doesn't sell that many tickets. He's not a pay-per-view fighter. So I think Frank's going to struggle to get him guys, especially big fights. So look, I still think there is a fighter there, but I'm just not quite sure how long he lasts. Because I think once it's cracked, and I'm talking about his jaw and his punch resistance, once it's cracked, right? Once it's gone, it's gone. So I'm not quite sure.
And for Zhang, where does he sit now? Because I think most people are looking at him as a top 4, top 5 heavyweight. He's going to be in the minds of the big names now. Anthony Joshua's already been linked with him. There's a possibility of a fight with Tyson Fury if he becomes mandatory as well. So where does he sit?
Yeah, I mean, for Zhang, I mean, what an Indian summer, right? I mean, you're 40, and all of a sudden, all these opportunities are coming your way. Not many people. I was lucky enough to see Zhang versus Hrgovic, and I think prior to that fight, he looked really bad against Jerry Forrest. That guy that fought Jerry Forrest and was quite lucky in that fight, no one would have said a couple of years later he's going to be where he is now. But that's boxing, heavyweight division. Anyone can get it. He's going to have to wait and see what Fury does after the Ngannou fight. Do the WBC finally give him a mandatory, or do they let Fury do whatever he wants to do? I don't see many wanting to get in the ring with a 21-stone southpaw that can hit and move like he does. But he's there. All of a sudden, it used to be the 4 of Wilder, Joshua, Usyk, and Fury. Now, Zhang versus any of those guys is exciting. So it's another addition to the heavyweight division. But I think Frank's going to have problems finding him an opponent. He'll get some. I mean, Bacoli will fight him, Frank Sanchez will fight him, but I doubt he'll get the 4 guys that we want to see: Wilder, Fury, Usyk, and AJ.
You mentioned Tyson Fury there. We're not far away now from Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou. We saw some social media videos of Francis Ngannou on the pads the other day, and I think the reaction was not too impressive. Is it dangerous him going in with Tyson Fury, do you think?
Not really, just because I don't think Fury is a puncher. And I think, you know, it's hard to say it's dangerous from someone that does MMA. Do you know what I mean? I mean, this guy's got in there where you're allowed to knee each other and kick each other in the head. So I don't know. I don't think he's scared of Fury. But look, I'm a big sort of MMA fan. So I've been watching Ngannou for a few years in the UFC. So what I saw on the pads with Mike Tyson sort of shadowing him doesn't surprise me. I knew he's not got great hands. He's not selling it like he has got great hands. He's selling it on that I'm the big, strong guy. I never hit you once. So if I can connect just once with this, I've got a chance of knocking you down. And that's why it's going to be entertaining, because I don't know if Fury can stop him. So that means for, 10, 12 rounds, you just never know. Like, you're all going to be like, you know, it's almost that Deontay Wilder effect. If he just catches him. So I think that's what they're selling it on. He's not a great boxer. He's not going to learn how to box in 6 months. If anyone thought that was going to happen, then maybe they need to watch another sport. You can't learn the sport of boxing that quick. But it's going to be exciting. It's going to be entertaining. I'm not that happy with it, but it's there. So I'm going to watch it because I'm a fight fan, and there's a good undercard as well. A very good undercard, in fact. So it is what it is. It is what it is. And you're right, not too far. What, 28th of October? So yeah, a month away. A month away. It's a crazy end to the year schedule that boxing or exhibition fights have got coming up.
If Fury wants to end that early, how long do you think that could last?
2 rounds. I'm not joking. Fury's that good. Fury's that big. Fury now sits on his punches. I think we saw that against Wilder. We saw that against Dillian Whyte. We saw it against Chisora, where he wasn't even really trying to stick it on Chisora. If a 21, what's Fury? 19 stone. If a 19 stone man wants to sit on his punches and hurt you, he can hurt you. But he just plays around a lot. The problem is, if he gets into that Ngannou wheelhouse and he gets caught one of those crazy uppercuts or hooks, anything could happen. But Fury could stop this in 2 rounds.
On the other side of the heavyweight division here in the UK, Anthony Joshua, we've already mentioned Zhilei Zhang, who's been touted as a possible future opponent for him, but Deontay Wilder was the name that was mentioned after the win over Robert Helenius. It seems, although that might not be on the cards now, is that disappointing as a boxing fan? Yes,
massively disappointing. I'm obviously a big AJ fan, and for me, AJ Wilder is the one that I've been wanting to see for years. Like, it's been there right in front of us for 5 years, and every time it goes away because of a defeat to Wilder or a defeat for AJ. The fact that we're this close right now and it still can't happen because we're over-relying on the Saudi Arabian money makes no sense for me. I mean, we're not too far from Wembley Stadium here. Why can't AJ Wilder happen at Wembley Stadium, 90,000? Even if you put the ticket price up a little bit, bump up the pay-per-view price, that's a fight we need to see. So the fact that we're talking about Wilder going somewhere else and AJ going somewhere else, look, don't forget, Wilder's 38. AJ is going to be 34. They're not young. It needs to happen now. So here we are again, AJ Wilder, and no fights. It's just disappointing. Super disappointing. I don't want to see AJ against anyone else. I know people might say, but AJ might not be ready. You're never going to be ready. No one's ever ready for that right hand. You just take it. You get in there and take it. So look, it's disappointing.
Ade, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Well done. Good interviews, brother. Good one.